Good morning, it is Sunday, March 12th, and this is the 5th video in the series of videos that I'm doing with Grandmaster Tal Baron, where he just kind of gives me instructional lessons, like while I'm playing in real time. Super fun series. You can find all of his information in the description if you want to check out more of his stuff. And in the meantime, just sit back, relax, take your pants off. Not a big deal.
He's over here. Oh, all right. Put that there.
Exactly.
IMD says, I love how this Tal is helping you fly, you little baby bird.
Okay, no threats you can develop, but normally, I don't know if you know any theory here or not, but
I usually
the usual
go...
move here is a6 to attack the bishop first.
Okay.
And well, I don't want to go into too many details, but this addition is considered to be good for black, and now you develop farther. You move the knight first, and then everything else is taking place.
Knight to e2?
So,
or e7?
Knight to f6 normally.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, you just attack a pawn, but if he castles, you probably don't take it. You don't want to waste time moving the same piece twice, because then you'll have some potential for initiative.
So all right, so I'm gonna get my bish here. Okay, all right.
To get your bish out.
Yes.
But once again, there are some nuances here. So if you get it to c5, it might be a little bit annoying because you get c3 and d4 to hit your bishop. So just because of concrete reasons, we put the bishop on e7 in this particular case.
Interesting. All right.
And by the way, yeah, okay, so now you can, now he's threatening to take your pawn on e5, so you defended it, that's good. And normally...
I just made an impulsive move. Was that the right move?
It was the right move, but yeah. Had you castled impulsively, then you would lose a pawn, yeah? Because then bishop takes e6 and knight takes e5.
Okay.
Okay, so now you can castle probably.
What about pinning? What about pinning his knight over there with my light squared bish?
It's possible, but we normally want to be a little bit more flexible. I'll explain later.
Okay.
But the main reason is that now that he put his pawn here on d4, now pinning the knight is a little bit more powerful, but not by much, because he can take your knight. So just for concrete reasons, I would probably get rid of his bishop on a4 first and then pin the knight. So it sounds a bit complicated, but you see what I mean.
Sure, yeah.
Because otherwise, tactically, after bishop g4, he takes on c6, exchanges the pawns, exchanges the queen, and he can take a pawn at the end. So it's a little bit complicated, but he can just start grabbing many pieces, and at the end, it's supposed to be good for him. So again, tactics are part of the game, and well, the strategy is all the same, but you just have to notice the threats, even if they're a little bit more complicated. So now, no threats.
Now our pin, we can hit him with that pin.
Exactly. And by the way, you cannot play bishop e6, which is the usual way to put it on the center, because of the fork on d5 with the pawn. So bishop g4 was the best square for that bishop.
Right.
Okay. Now I will tell you an idea for a logical move here.
I want to gobble that pawn up, is what I want to do.
Yeah, don't. This is what I wanted to say.
All right.
If you don't, if you take it, he has a nasty trap, bishop d5, attacking both knights at the same time.
Okay.
So this is one of the ideas here. And now you have different options that are all making sense, but let's just go with the most logical one that I can think of, is pawn takes pawn. And I know what I said earlier about breaking the tension in the center, but in this particular case, if you take his pawn on d4, then you have a specific idea, which is to get with your pawn to d5. So d6 to d5, and then you're creating some tension in the center. So once again, you cannot take his pawn on e4 because of the trap, bishop d5. So I would play pawn from d6 to d5, and well, you have a lot of threats, and if he captures after knight takes pawn, you will have an isolated pawn. He has a threat, you move the knight to the center.
I sure do.
This is a very dynamic opening, as you can probably see.
Yeah, it's getting kind of, this is already totally beyond my comprehension, my opening comprehension here.
So let's just follow the guidelines, general guidelines.
All right.
So if he has a threat, we will react. So now he wants to take your bishop. You move one square backwards, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
while
We don't,
maintaining the pin.
yeah, we don't.
Because if he gets g4, it will only open his king.
Right. Yeah. No, we like that pin. That's a really annoying pin. He can, but he can. Ooh. All right. He went there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I want to trade that though? I kind of have to, right?
Because he has a threat on d5.
Because of his threat on d5.
Yeah, the knight and bishop are attacking d5, so you have to. The only way to protect is to eliminate this knight.
All right. Okay.
And now this is a position that's been played quite a lot of times, and it's one of the main lines. What's
the name of this opening?
It's called the Rui Lopez.
Okay.
Or the Spanish opening.
Yeah, no, that was
the guy.
That was like the first. That was the first opening I ever. It's probably the most famous opening in chess, right? Or the most.
Exactly. That I am aware of. Yeah.
Let me tell you about the move that I'm looking at. I'm looking to develop my queen. She's not really doing much.
Exactly what I was about to say. Just develop the queen.
About queen d2. That looks like a nice spot for her.
D7.
D7.
Queen d7. Yeah.
All right.
Correct. This is a great positional move for many reasons, but the most simplistic one is that it develops the queen. And, well, you have two basic ideas in this position. So I'll introduce you to one of them. It's not very simple to come up with, but it's logical when you think about it. So you ask if he has a threat. He doesn't. You don't know where to put the rooks. So the piece you want to improve is your knight on c6, and you can bring it to an awesome square in 2 moves. Do you see which square I'm talking about?
Yeah, with tempo too.
No, not with tempo.
What?
There's another awesome square. I mean, this is also good what you're thinking about, from a5 to c4.
Yes.
But there is an even better, more central square.
Okay, so how about d8 to e6?
Perfect. And then you'll have 2 positional ideas afterwards that I'll show you.
All right, okay, all right.
So your move is also completely fine, but just theoretically, from the opening point of view, this is considered stronger.
Yo, I want to take that pawn with my bish. That's what
unfortunately, it doesn't work tactically. You don't get to win enough material, but worry not. If you just move backwards, he will still have an open king for free.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do anything, and he opened up his king.
And,
so he's grabbing space.
And I have a nice little spot on e4 there with my bish if I want.
Exactly, but you don't want to go there immediately because then he will go knight d2 and attack your bishop.
This is true.
But for later on, you'll keep it in mind. So don't go there yet.
I'm going to continue with my plan. I'm going to continue with my knight plan.
Exactly. Now that he doesn't have any threat, then you move. And now you have 2 different ideas. Now that the knight is blockading the pawn, 2 different ideas. Don't rush with them, but normally when you develop your pieces, you want to have a pawn break. So you have 2 options here. One is the f pawn, either f6 or f5 to break open the f file.
Yeah.
And another one is to play c5 and open the c file. So in this case, first let's ask ourselves, does he have a threat?
Well, he's attacking my bishop, but that would help me because I want to open up that f file. So maybe I want to just let him do that.
No threat. So for now, you don't want to do anything special. What I would normally do is develop my rook from a8. But it's a tricky question. All the squares from c8 to e8 are probably equally plausible and hard to judge. So if you just pick one...
I'm going to say c8.
Yeah, just pick one. It's okay, because maybe you'll have c5 later on and open that file for the rook. But the key is that he doesn't have any particularly useful moves, and he helped you. You see, he was under pressure, so now you take with the pawn. Normally they take towards the center, but you rightly judged the f file is good. And now what we do, because we have an open file, we can just double the rook on this file. There is no reason to avoid it.
Oh,
and now the rook on c8 is fulfilled his task by waiting.
Okay, all right.
He had the Zen job right there.
So yeah, that's a concept that's worth telling sort of newcomers when it comes to chess, is the concept of a waiting move. That's not something that
that's very complicated.
Yeah.
By the way, we don't have too much time, so let's improve one of our pieces. It doesn't have a threat. You can bring the knight farther to not really to the center, but you see what I mean. Move forward with the knight in a way that will put more pressure. Exactly.
All right.
And well, we will have to respond to his threats. And on the next game, when we'll have more time, we'll discuss waiting moves a little bit.
All
Okay,
right.
so no idea what he wants. I'm gonna just make a window for the king. We kind of left this off because of all the urgency of other things in the game. H6, and another interesting positional move is probably to play G5 at some point
Yeah.
and reinforce the knight.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. He
So
doesn't. He doesn't
you
have a
can
threat
probably
yet.
play-
I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, and now I don't see
Now,
any.
now his rook sucks. His rook isn't doing
Exactly.
shit. Oh, there we go.
Okay,
He realized
once again, it doesn't have a threat. What you can do is probably to improve one of your pieces. I
Yeah.
would go with my queen somewhere, e6 or c6, doesn't matter that much.
So this is kind of another example of one of those waiting moves where you're trying.
Exactly. I just want to make a useful move because it doesn't have any serious threat. So he takes. You see, he breaks under the pressure once again.
All right.
Rook takes is a good move. Another alternative is to take with the pawn, but I would like to keep that file open. Now you have to go backwards all the way. There's no choice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything is protected on his camp. And, well, it's not an easy position, that's for sure. I would probably play c6 on the next move.
That's what I was looking at. That's what I was looking at. Yeah.
Just stabilizing everything in the center. And, yeah, c6. And a takes b5 as a pre-move, yeah?
All right.
Towards the center. So you take your own pawn in a way.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, it's a safe pre-move because it only works if he makes that move. Okay, now we can probably move our king with another waiting move. Nothing really happens so far. King h7 or h8, both are fine. And yeah, so he doesn't do much. So what we can do is probably get the queen to g6, for example. I don't have any specific idea in mind quite yet. I'm just trusting my intuition, yeah?
All right, all right. I
So-
trust your intuition as well, my friend.
Okay, now
Look at
he's
this
once
son
again
of a
breaking the
bitch.
tension. So rook f6 is the only move not to lose the rook.
Rook
He
f6.
probably
No, no, no.
wants
But
to-
he can fork me. Okay, all right. Okay, I see. f6. All right.
So you will probably go knight e5 and attack your queen, and you only
Yeah.
have one square, but it's enough.
That's a nasty
So
move.
he-
I don't like that move.
By him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very sharp tactically, and I have to admit the way he's playing is far beyond 880 level. So maybe he also has someone whispering in his back.
He has 880. He does.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. I wish I was that good. Okay, he's gonna win the exchange. Now,
Yeah.
probably what I would do is just take on f2 and take back with the rook all the way to f8. Yeah.
Take on it.
So we will lose a little bit of material, but we open up his king a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll be 1 point behind. Rook takes. And an example of an idea now will be queen to b8 and to go through this diagonal. Okay, now you can take back with the pawn. Queen from b8 can go to
Okay.
f4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see.
Also, bishop from d6 can go somewhere. This is also interesting. I like queen b8 because it also doesn't allow him to penetrate on the a file.
Yeah.
So you don't have any threats, but his king is a little bit open.
We don't want
I
to
don't
exchange.
want to exchange. So probably bishop f6 might be a good idea to prevent exchange. And if he gives a check, you go king h8 probably. Yeah. And on the next move, probably rook e8 to attack the pawn on e6. It's a
Yeah,
little bit
that's
dangerous.
no, that's what I was looking at too.
Yeah, the guy's completely a master of the game, I have to admit. And well,
Maybe he's using a computer.
I don't think so. I don't think so because he played decent moves, but he didn't. He was worse at some point, and computer wouldn't have allowed it. So yeah, rook e8 attacking e6. Exactly. Now you can attack it farther. Amazing. Bishop d8, bishop c7 is a great idea to have a
Yeah,
battery.
yeah. I see that.
So it sounds like I'm just careful. It's attacking your rook. You cannot take the pawn. You have to go with the rook probably to f8 because tactically he will mate you with the other rook if you let him. Yeah. If you take on e6, rook a8 will be mate.
Pressure's
The guy is awesome. There's
the pressure's on. I can't do this.
Okay, so probably you should go queen f4 and attack his rook. It's the only chance I can see, but yeah, to deal with his idea, which we're trying to sneak some perpetual check maybe.
Yeah, maybe I can get a draw out of this. That'd be nice.
Yeah, if we're lucky. I mean, Nick 17 is awesome.
Fucking Nick.
Oh my god, this is a great move. Okay, probably you have to go rook a8. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that he's starting to drift a little bit. Even though if he finds the right moves, he probably still is okay. But yeah, that's the right move. So I feel like he has some huge threats coming your way. E7.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, the guy is something else. So probably there's not much to be done against it. I don't have any particularly wise suggestion.
No,
but let me think for a moment. I mean, the guy is completely outplaying us. So I guess some people, it had to come sooner or later. So well,
there's like, I can't do anything, Tal.
Yeah, me neither. That's one of the risks of the job. So let's try to, I don't know, retreat somehow. Go with the queen to d6 maybe. I don't know. There's no way to defend from his threats. He can go e7 and there's basically nothing to be done against his threats.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with the hot resign.
Wow, the guy was completely amazing.
Nick is incredible. That's what I have to say about Nick. Awesome. It's just incredible.
Okay, so
we're gonna do
so
this.
now let's develop. Okay, this is the Budapest Gambit. It's a well-known theoretical line.
All right.
If you want to have an advantage with white, you have to accept it. So I'm always up for a challenge.
Let's do it.
But we have to avoid being too greedy. So we are not going to maintain the pawn up. We're just going to develop. So what's the logical move that you can think of here? Exactly.
All right.
And he's probably going to play bishop c5, attacking f2. And now what you want to do is protect while developing, yeah? So you can just develop a pawn.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
And normally what they do now is play knight c6. And I don't try to defend this pawn. I just go bishop e2 and castle.
All right, okay.
So, yeah.
Gonna do it.
And what we can summarize in this opening is that, of course, black didn't risk much, but he did move his knight 3 times. So now you can castle, you can develop the knight first.
I'm a castle.
Yeah, and well, normally they also castle. I like taking the knight there. I mean, it doesn't make any big difference because he can force the same situation. So I just take on e5.
I'm gonna go my own way here, Tal. I'm gonna go my own way.
But
we're gonna make this interesting.
Yeah, the boy is definitely growing up. So what I meant by he can force the same, he can take your knight and then bring the other knight to e5 and essentially force your bishop back and get the same position. Technically, okay, I'm not sure he will do it. Now you want to develop your dark squared bish, long diagonal.
On the long diagonal. All right, let's do it.
Yeah. So how do you do it?
We're gonna do that.
Exactly.
Okay. The K9 Chief, thank you so much for 5 months. RuneScape, thanks for the fresh sub.
About the previous game, the chess can be very humbling sometimes.
It sure can.
No matter how high you think you are, it always finds a way to beat your ass to the ground.
It's like poker. It's like poker like that.
Even worse, because you have all the information. There are no excuses.
That's so I just gotta take there. And now he's doing that thing that you said he would do.
If he brings the other knight, yeah.
So I should probably, well, there's a couple places I could go here, right? I don't have to go.
Probably back is the best way. Just go back.
All right.
Okay, bishop e4 is also fine, but
that's what I was looking at. what I was looking
Yeah,
at.
but I prefer to go back because he has some attacking ideas involving knight g4 or bishop g4, and I don't want to allow them. Yeah, now I'm not sure if he's blundered or not. Do you see what I'm thinking of?
Just push the pawn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see defense for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, actually, I meant another pawn.
What pawn did you mean?
There was a pawn.
Oh,
move
god damn it, son of a bitch. God damn it, Tal.
Okay, this is a good move. It just doesn't win the game. So now he has a huge threat, bishop h3. You probably want to avoid this threat by going king h1.
Okay.
And
So this is
there's no
bishop,
pin.
and he was threatening to go there, you guys. So.
Let's talk about bitches.
Yeah. So you still have every reason to think that you have a good position.
Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers once again. You guys are too nice. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
The development, because he's a little bit more active right now. So bishop b2 is something you want to get in there somehow, but now he has a threat. He's rightly trying to strike the iron while it's hot and open up the center.
All right.
You probably should just go f3 and stabilize the position. Yeah?
All right.
Protect.
I can do that. That's another reason why we got the king off of g1.
Exactly.
Because of that. He's got that bishop on this diagonal here.
Yeah, but he has a lot of potential for attack in the coming moves.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little claustrophobic over here.
Yeah. The pawn on e3 was doing a very good job of blocking his bishop on c5. So when we moved to e4, it wasn't that bad, but strategically it just opened up the lines for most of his pieces.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting exchange. We get some space and we give away some squares for his pieces.
I'm not too worried yet. It just looks like he's gonna have more pieces on my king side than I'm gonna have defending. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the definition of being worried in chess.
Yeah. I guess. Well, when you put it like that, Tal.
Yeah.
So I should probably take with a knight here, right?
Exactly. You don't want to get an isolated pawn on the e file. And for those who don't know, an isolated pawn is a pawn that has no other pawns in the adjacent files. So on the neighboring files, no other pawns.
Pawns like to be right next to each other, so they can support each other. But when you have an isolated pawn, he quickly becomes a target more often than not.
Yeah, that's true. So and the pawn on e4 would also open up the f file, which is something that's not desirable for us, because he will just start launching his rooks at us. So for now, if we can, we're gonna try to get bishop b2 in. Obviously, our immediate idea is knight takes c5, and get rid of the bish. This bishop is very annoying.
Somehow, I doubt he's gonna allow that.
Yeah, he's probably gonna play bishop b6. He's 1,000 points higher than the previous opponent.
What about just pushing a4 immediately if he does that?
We want to develop if we can. A4 is not a bad move, but just for the sake of educational value, let's stick to our plans.
Stick to our plan. Get him on the long diagonal.
Yeah, we have some little boys watching. We don't want them to start playing a4 in random situations.
Now you guys, bishops love these long diagonals because it's where they're most max. It's their maximum. It's where they have the maximum effect, basically. They have more. They have more influence on the long diagonal than on any other square, depending on the position, obviously.
Yes.
This is how I make myself sound smart. I chime in and lecture you about chess.
Well, I did learn something about the bishop, and there's an interesting philosophical point I want to make. Sometimes I tell people about something that's supposed to be wise, not necessarily my own idea, and then they just respond, I know it. And some things are worth repeating. So he's threatening your knight on e4. You want to go with the knight with tempo. So do you think of a square that you can attack some piece with tempo?
I sure do.
Boom. And it's also closer to your king.
Boom.
By the way, there is a funky idea for him that I don't know if it works, but if it were, it would have been amazing. It's queen takes g3, followed by rook f6, trying to get rook h6 mate.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a little funky, huh?
Yeah, but I think we have some idea for defense. but I mean, I see at least one. So as I was saying earlier, repeating things that you already know that might be wise is not a waste of time.
No, especially
just like I repeat the questions.
Especially not in chess too, because repetition is so important in chess. Oh, there it is. He's doing it. He's going for it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you have to take the queen. You have to take it. Okay, now be careful. The only slight threat he has is mate on h6. It's not such a big deal.
Not a big deal. But I can. How about bish?
I'm not gonna tell you the defensive move. I'm not gonna tell you.
How about bish to d5?
To figure out.
Bish to d4.
Exactly.
Boom. Sucker.
That's the defense that he missed.
You just gave me your queen, you idiot.
Exactly. That's not a way to treat a lady.
Now at this point, he's probably going, "God damn it." That was a cool.
Like,
I respect
like
his,
in the previous video.
I respect
his. God damn it, Tal.
Yeah. That happened a few times in the last video too. Yeah, he's just going for it anyways. He's just gonna soldier on.
Yeah. He wants to sink with the boat.
Yeah. No, I respect the aggression. I would have made a move like that. Now I should just fucking take, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now we want to be technical. We don't want to rush. So let's be educated here. You want to develop the rook from a1 because he has no threat currently.
Yes.
So what I would do is somehow help him to get to d1, to the open file. Can you do it with tempo?
I can.
Exactly.
But
so
then,
queen d5, of course.
Okay, but then he could. All right, no, he's not gonna do.
He could block with the bish, but then you have some pawns that you can capture.
I can just gobble him up.
Again, okay, so you can probably grab something if you want. I won't tell you not to, but then I like developing.
Then I get then I get a tempo. Then I get a tempo on his bishop too if I grab that.
Yeah. So this is an interesting idea that we're just demonstrating here. You can grab pawns, and many people like to refer to themselves as pawn grabbers, but that's not the point of the game. You want to bring all your pieces to active squares as fast as possible, so you can get the king. And the pawns are not going anywhere. I mean, if he's gonna force you, if he's gonna really insist, you're gonna grab one of them.
Yeah, there's a saying in chess, and it's monkey see check, monkey take check, and I guess the same could be said for gobbling up pawns. What if I push my f pawn right now? Because he can't take, because if he takes, then I take his bishop.
Well, technically now I would grab the pawn, but not for the reason most people will think. And he resigned. Okay, so I would have taken on b7 with the idea to bring the other rook to d7. So we can double it on the 7th rank.
Okay, all right.
And then, yeah, this would have been crushing.